So we are being asked to solve for the variable. When you have a fraction being equal to a fraction, it's called proportions. So we're going to be solving for proportions here. And if you remember from both Algebra 1 and Geometry, the way that we're going to do this is using cross multiplication. So we're going to cross one numerator with one denominator. So I have crossed, and now I'm going to multiply. So I have 9 being multiplied to x plus 1. And then we have to go the other direction as well. So I have the 3 being multiplied to this other denominator. So I have 3 being multiplied to this denominator. So I just cross multiplied. And now we're just going to solve for the variable. So I'm going to distribute into the parentheses. So I have 9x plus 9 equaling, distribute into my parentheses. I have 12x plus 15. I'm going to move the constants over to the right. So I have 9x equaling a 12x plus 6. Move my variables to the left. So I have a negative 3x equaling 6. Divide both sides by negative 3. I end up getting x to equal a negative 2. So I solve for my variable using cross multiplication and then solving for x. But after you solve, you need to make sure that you can check it to make sure you're doing it correctly. When you check, you need to check the original typed out problem. So here's my original typed out problem given to me out of the book. And I want you to think of kind of like a line down here. When you are proving, when you are checking, this is a problem that you're going to solve by itself, and then this is a problem you are going to solve by itself. And at the very end, both sides should have the same thing equaled. You're not going to be moving anything from the left to the right. Pretend the left is all by itself. Pretend the right's all by itself. See what you get. So I'm supposed to replace the x's with what I was told x was. So this is 3 all over. I am told that x is a negative 2. And now I'm being added the 1. This is supposed to be the same as 9 all over 4. And then that's supposed to be times x, which is my negative 2. And then I'm supposed to add the 5. So let's see what we have. This is 3 all over negative 2 plus 1 is a negative 1. Over here, this is 9 all over 4 times negative 2 is a negative 8, and that's a plus 5. 3 divided by negative 1 is a negative 3. This is 9 all over negative 8 plus 5 is a negative 3. We already solved the left. It is a negative 3. 9 divided by negative 3 is a negative 3. So we solved the left like it was his own problem. We solved the right like it was his own problem. Both of them are equal, which meant we got the correct answer. It is negative 2. So we're being asked to solve for the variable, and we have a proportion equal to another proportion. And when we do this, we are going to use cross multiplication. So I'm going to go across, and I'm going to multiply these two. So I have 2 times my 5x. And then I am going to go across, and I am going to multiply these two. So I have 3 times the 7 minus x. And when you do cross multiplication, these two expressions are equal to each other. And now you're just supposed to solve for the variable. So 2 times a 5x is a 10x, equaling 3 times x is a 3x. 3 times a negative 7 is a negative 21. And now I'm just going to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 3 from each side. I have 7x equaling a negative 21. Divide both sides by 7. X ends up being a negative 3. But I need to check to make sure that I solved it accurately. And when you check, you have to check the original typed out problem the exact way it was given to you before you started doing any of the math. So here's my exact typed out problem. Remembering the left needs to stay on the left, figure out what your answer is. Right stays on the right, figure out what your answer is. So this is 3 all over 5 times whatever my whatever my x is, which we said was a negative 3. And then that is supposed to be the same as 2 all over, I need my x, which we are saying is a negative 3, and then I'm supposed to subtract 7. So I'm trying to see if these two would get the same answer. So this is 3 all over 5 times negative 3 is a negative 15. This is 2 all over negative 3 minus 7 is a negative 10. Simplify the fraction 3 over negative 15. I get a negative 1/5. Simplify the fraction 2 all over negative 10. I get a negative 1/5. Since both sides are equal, this is correct, which means this is my correct answer.